Fox News alert, the House is expected to vote at any minute now on their brand new spending bill. We'll be monitoring that and we'll bring it to you live. But in the meantime, it looks like Joe Biden will be leaving office in 31 days, the same way he came in. Diminished and disgraced. The commander-in-chief going AWOL during the shutdown drama on Capitol Hill, but his own party doesn't seem to mind. Congressional Democrats are reportedly largely fine with Biden's absence, with little clamor for him to return and no one looking to Joe for answers. That hurts a little bit. Even Karine Jean-Pierre is having a hard time trying to defend her milk carton boss.
Why hasn't President Biden said anything in the public about this? Don't the American people deserve to know why millions of federal workers could enter this holiday period without a paycheck?
Well, Americans need to know that Republicans are getting in the way here.
Is there a sense that perhaps having him involved at this moment would do more harm than good?
The president knows how to deal with Congress. He's been around for some time, as you all know.
Shouldn't Americans hear from the President of the United States just hours from a shutdown?
What Americans need to know is that you have Republicans in Congress, in the House, who got in a way, who stopped a bipartisan agreement.
With his legacy in tatters, his party in civil war, and approval sinking to the lowest yet, Joe Biden somehow has no regrets.
Any other regrets that you have? Anything you wish you would have done differently?
Well, I guess if I thought a lot about it, it'd be something I would have done specifically, but not generically. I set out to do two things: restore America's leadership in the world. I think we've done that. And two, to generate opportunity for ordinary people.
Okay, so Jessica, is it appropriate to quiet quit the presidency of the United States? And could Joe Biden maybe do something about his legacy, which is not good at this point, by getting involved in this funding fight?
Well, I always hear from my esteemed colleagues, why won't he just go away? So now you have gotten your wish, a Christmas miracle, President-elect Trump in charge early. No, I think that if there are levers that he can pull and folks that he has influence with, he should do that, whether you're calling from Delaware or you're in D.C. I do want to say about the I wouldn't change anything question, because it is reminiscent of what Kamala was getting on the campaign trail. Everybody needs an answer for that. It's like when you show up at a job interview and they say, you know, what's one thing that, you know, you wish you could do better? Or, you know, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? And you say, oh, my weakness is I work too hard or whatever. No one likes that. And it's not realistic and it's not really human. I just wanted to plug a really interesting interview that Jonathan Martin did with Chris LaCivita and Tony Fabrizio that's in Politico magazine right now. I mentioned yesterday that there was a big panel with the Biden campaign people and the Trump campaign people, and there are so many interesting insights into how they ran Trump's campaign, when they knew that they were going to win, what the impact of Kamala getting in was. And what really stuck out to me were two things. That one, Trump's favorability went up after the Butler assassination attempt, and that it never came back down, and that they saw 10 to 12% of the electorate as persuadable, which is so much higher than we usually think about. And that's because they knew that this working class, especially with voters of color, phenomenon was happening. And it was illuminating to me.
So Shannon, as the Doge boys, as they say, are going through these new CRs and trying to find things they think should not be funded, a lot of them are a result of Biden's work as president, and he's nowhere to be found defending what Congress did for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost jarring, I think, to the point when we see him pop up where the cameras are chasing him and he's traveling, or we have a chance to get to him. I'm like, oh yeah, he is still president,
right.
Because for a number of reasons, he has quietly been in the background, and because President Trump has assumed so much of that mantle with world leaders and other people coming to him and acting as if he is the current president. I gotta say, today I was shocked in the briefing, and our Jackie Heinrich did not get called on because I'm quite sure she would have asked.
Yes.
Not one reporter asked about that massively reported, nearly 50 sources, Wall Street Journal, page after page after page of him not meeting with his cabinet secretaries, people not being able to get in touch with them, no access to him being given pre-planned questions. All of this stuff, not one question about that in the briefing today was shocking to me.
Yeah, things that we've been reporting for years.
That's not shocking.
It's not shocking.
They were complicit.
Yeah.
I think it's shameful that what is Joe doing? Doing the best he can with what he has left. Interviewing him is criminal. It's even more criminal to interview him to go down memory lane. It's not a joke. This man, whatever he was, he used to be, Father Time is doing what Father Time does. He can barely walk. He's not in these. We know now that the staffers are making decisions and this, that, whatever. His legacy is basically that they knew that he was unfit. We were talking during the break. Once they knew if they cared about the country, they should have put Kamala in 2 years ago. Good, bad, or indifferent, she has her faculties together. Asking him now to come in and talk to Congress is criminal. He cannot do it anymore. The reason why there's no fighting and arguing over President Trump interviewing and doing these things is because he can't make that argument. And anyone else who comes out and say it, then they have to admit the fact that they've been making these decisions for him the whole time. I think we need to stop blaming Joe Biden and looking at who has been running the show. It's not fair. I don't, as a comedian, I don't make fun of Joe Biden anymore.
No.
Because you're making fun of somebody who can't defend themselves.
That's very gracious of you, Tyrus.
I'm just saying.
Charlie, to Shannon's point, it is outrageous that nobody asked about it. But then to Tyrus's point, they didn't ask because if you have two eyeballs in your head and ears, you know this was all true. And of course they can't ask about it when they were helping the White House cover it up.
And I think it is important to remember when you look at that pitiful interview that he just gave, that if the media got their way, that guy would be talking in that interview, would be president right now, would have gotten reelected. And if Democrats who fought for whatever it was, 7 months of the year if they got their way, he would be, and they rigged the primary, he would be the next president. He would be the leader of the free world going forward for the next 4 years, which is pretty terrifying.
Well, they would.
Right.
With his skin.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And you're right. You know, none of these people. You can't let these people off the hook. No. They were the ones that propped him up. And you know, as for whether he should be would be helping or hurting the process on Capitol Hill, who knows? I can tell you this: no Democrat member of Congress wants him involved in anything. They want nothing to do with him because he has managed to break records and unify the country by racking up a 66% disapproval rating, which is a record in the history of polling popularity of presidents.
Yeah, his presidency ended after that debate with Trump in June. That's when it really started going down.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.